Heist games are some of the most fun co-op multiplayer experiences. Just look at titles like Payday and GTA's endgame heists. Now, things are about to get a bit more medieval. Hey there friends, it's Kodiak here, one half of the team behind Legacy Gaming, and welcome to our ultimate preview video for Sumo Newcastle's upcoming multiplayer heist game, Hood, Outlaws and Legends. It's been a hot minute since a new game in the heist genre made itself known, but on May 10th, that changes. Hood, Outlaws and Legends aims to be a multiplayer-only PvEvP experience where you and your merry band of outlaws compete against another group to be the first ones to secure an oppressive regime's treasure, locked away in a secret vault. Numerous AI-controlled guards will stand between you and your team and that prize as you communicate to open special pathways, stealthily take down enemies, and fade away into the night, ideally unseen. But as I mentioned before, this is a PvEvP game, and just like your own band of thieves, another team of 4 will be angling to steal that very same treasure, be it from the state, before you, or right out from under your clutches. It's up to your team to effectively plan your routes, use your abilities in a cohesive fashion, and watch out for threats from all angles. Every single match you enter will be structured in a similar fashion, beginning with 3 distinct phases. In the first phase, your team will have to keep their eyes peeled and locate the elite enemy known as the Sheriff. Your goal? The all-important vault key he keeps on his person at all times. Knock out the Sheriff to loot the key or steal it before your enemies, and your team will be off to a successful start. In the second phase, you'll need to infiltrate the outpost, keep, or whatever large map structure your run rolls with, and locate the vault. Now this won't be something easy to do, and arguably will be the most time-consuming portion of these runs. The AI will be on high alert once the key has been taken, meaning stealth and teamwork will be key. The developers have also added numerous unpredictable elements to each game, and one of the biggest examples of this is the vault location. Each map has up to 3 treasure buildings that could possibly house the treasure vault, and within each of these buildings, there could be 5 possible spawn locations of the vault itself inside that building. On top of this, the AI have dynamic, randomized patrol paths and a dynamic escalation system based on the player's positioning, meaning no encounter will ever be the same. And I just have to take a second to say how important this all is for this type of game. If we think you're going to be jumping into the same scenario time after time, well, think again. If that wasn't enough, we then get to the third phase, the escape. Your team will need to take the chest to one of the various extraction points in the game in order to hoist it out and secure it. All the while, the enemy team will be coming for you. Here is also where holding various capture points comes into play. These act as spawn points for whatever team holds them, and that means quicker access back into the action. All of this alone will make for an interesting experience every time, and we haven't even broken down the Sheriff, who will be a constant threat in all 3 phases. The Sheriff isn't a pushover. He's an elite enemy you do not want to tango with, capable of outright killing a player in a single blow. He's an absolute force to be reckoned with, and is another aspect of each heist you'll have to learn to deal with. The Sheriff can be downed, but not outright killed, and he'll function as the main pursuer, constantly on your team's trail, meaning you need to keep a sharp lookout at all times. A head-on approach to the Sheriff is typically not advised, but if the moment absolutely calls for it, there are ways to bring him down temporarily, but the moment he stands back up, he'll be hot on your trail. Hood, Outlaws and Legends puts you in control of 4 distinct classes, but it also checks off that fantasy box of playing as Robin Hood or one of his merry band of thieves. We'll break down each of the major classes, but keep in mind that things can be changed via a perk system within the game. What we're breaking down are the basics, but things get more nuanced as you level up each class and unlock new progression rewards. The Ranger is your team's sniper, capable of taking out any foe from a distance, but far from helpless up close. Unlike other classes that can block attacks, the Ranger utilizes a special dodge mechanic that allows him to outright evade things. Similarly, when enemies get too close, the Ranger can employ a special flash grenade to temporarily stun and blind foes. You can use this as a defensive measure to escape a hot situation, or use it to line up easy headshots. The Ranger can also tag targets, helping your team track them for a prolonged duration. This can help set up easy assassinations or just help you track the Sheriff so your team can get into position to steal the key. The Ranger's utility also extends well beyond just tagging enemies. They can use their arrows to knock down ropes that your teammates can use to reach new areas and circumnavigate the enemy. The Ranger's ultimate ability is called Farsight, giving your arrows an explosive effect that sticks to enemies before exploding, dealing massive damage. If you prefer a more direct approach to killing enemies but still want to maintain that element of surprise, the Hunter may be the class for you. Armed with a unique wrist crossbow blade combination, the Hunter can load up to 3 bolts and take out enemies a short distance away, or use the blade to assassinate enemies from any direction. The Hunter is the only class capable of taking down enemies in this manner, which makes her the perfect assassin for getting in quickly and quietly to take out a target. Her gear piece is a smoke grenade that obscures vision and prevents tagging. This can be used to block an enemy's team's view or prevent AI-controlled guards from detecting you. The Hunter's ultimate ability is the Shroud, which makes her near invisible as she moves quickly to accomplish her goals. The Shroud makes her undetectable by AI-controlled enemies, but enemy teams with a keen eye are still able to see her. This ability is timed or concludes once the Hunter commits to any action. The next class is probably one of the more interesting ones in the game, the Mystic. Armed with a flail, this character is capable of controlling the pace of battle, utilizing a heavy attack that staggers enemies or a light attack that sweeps across a large area. The Mystic also has a special ability that lets him restore stamina much faster than other outlaws, allowing him to get back into the fight that much quicker. His gear item is a poison bomb, which obscures vision and saps the stamina of enemies caught in the cloud. His ultimate ability is Insight, which has a threefold effect. The ability outlines enemies, allowing the Mystic to see them regardless of location for a short period of time, even through walls. The ability also heals the Mystic and heals allies in the general area. The Mystic is also the class most changeable thanks to the game's perk system. Don't like poison? Well, eventually you can change that out for a healing bomb, or convert the damage you do to healing. It's the most flexible class in the game and truly the one that could make all the difference on a team. If you're sick of lurking in the shadows and just want to bash in some skulls, well, don't worry, that's where the Brawler comes into play. Armed with a heavy two-handed hammer, the Brawler is capable of dealing damage to multiple enemies with wide sweeping attacks or more deadly precision overhead attacks. The Brawler is your team's muscle and the only class capable of lifting open portcullis gates, creating new options for your team to maneuver while also blocking off enemy teams. The Brawler also comes equipped with an explosive gear item that allows him to take out ranged targets rather easily. Once upgraded, this bomb can even stick to targets, making it that much more deadly. His ultimate is Wrath, giving him unlimited stamina and increasing his durability for a short duration. Use it to chase down enemies or in the heat of battle to withstand an onslaught of attacks. Heists are all well and good, but what's the point of stealing chests full of treasure if there's no way to spend your fortune? Here's where the progression system comes into play. At the end of each heist, you'll have to decide how much gold to keep and how much to give back to the people. It's a balancing act. The more you give, the wider range of items and challenge you'll have available to you. The more you keep, the easier it is to build up your hideout and unlock new items. The primary use for money is to purchase new perks for each class. You'll level them up via an experience system within the game, and then use the coin to fully unlock the perks. Each class has a variety of perks that they can use in one of 3 slots, and each perk is designed to enhance an aspect of that class. For example, the Hunter has a perk called Veiled Menace that gives her increased range damage and a reduced ability cooldown when hiding in bushes. Other perks like Phantom Stalker make her Shroud ability more effective by reducing her visibility to enemies and increasing her movement speed. Other than that, money is primarily used to unlock new cosmetics, which will help you stand out when going up against another team. Some people may be into this, others may not, but I think it's important to understand that while perks do change up the way the game is played, the team is being careful not to make progression too important that it changes the power dynamic between casual and hardcore players. It's a decent balance, one that I'm excited to see play out once the game goes live. Hood Outlaws and Legends is a true, always-online multiplayer game with no real emphasis on story or a single-player experience. At launch, the game will ship with 5 distinct maps that will take players to various period-specific locations, but each will have a distinct size and feel. The goal was density, not necessarily scale, but I think you'll quickly realize the team was actually aiming for both. The graveyard at Gwydion's Rest features a massive church at the center of an overgrown graveyard. Distinct features like underground crypts will give players unique ways of traversing the map. Other maps like the marshland at New Abbas are flooded and exposed, which looks to force teams to make critical decisions about their plan and approach to the keep that stands at the center of a long-abandoned town. The other 3 maps are unique in their own way, but each is distinctly marked by the state, and it's clear that their influence in each region of the game is vast. As Outlaws, it's your job to learn the secrets of each map, discover the best ways to get around, and ultimately be the team that can work together the best for the good of the people. If you're curious about what will happen after the game launches, well, the game's director Andrew Willans has already said that post-launch content is planned, with new characters, abilities, environments, and game modes all on the radar. Details about future content are currently under wraps, but honestly, let's not put the cart before the horse. A solid launch with stable servers and a decent player base are key before we start talking about what comes next. It's clear that Hood, Outlaws and Legends aims to be up there with the best in the heist genre by doing something just a bit different, but only time will tell if the gameplay loop keeps players engaged long term. Players will be able to pick up this game at launch for only $30, with a Year 1 edition clocking in at just $50 that includes the base game, 4 exclusive outfits, a weapon skin, battle passes for the game's first 3 seasons, and 3 days of early access starting on May 7th. We think it's safe to say most players have wanted to live out a Robin Hood fantasy in some way, but it'll be up to the developers to deliver a rewarding experience instead of merely pillaging your own coffers. If you are interested in a full-blown review of the game, keep an eye out for our Hood, Outlaws and Legends Worth Your Time video. We'll be diving deep into the game and get you that information as soon as we've played enough to make the call. If you guys like our content and are a fan of what we stand for here at Legacy Gaming, you can now help us out even more by becoming a member. For the cost of a cup of coffee, you're helping evolve the channel and build a better community. Check out that join button below to learn more. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.